I still remember the night the CEO of one of the fastest-growing technology companies in America sat absolutely alone in the hushed, cavernous silence of her company parking garage, the cool interior of her luxury car reflecting the distant sodium lamps. Tears were quietly, steadily tracing paths down her face. This wasn't the anguish of a hostile takeover, a market crash, or a failed multi-million-dollar acquisition. This devastation stemmed from a realization far more personal, a truth so unexpected, so deeply humbling, that it instantaneously shattered the carefully constructed fortress of assumptions she held about genuine success, true intelligence, and the quiet power of human kindness. The profound lesson she absorbed that evening began with the unspoken, private struggle of her own daughter and a janitor whom every single person in that multi-story building habitually overlooked. Before this poignant story continues, please take a brief moment to offer your support to our channel, Kindness World. If you are someone who believes that real-life narratives possessing the power to restore and reaffirm your fundamental faith in humanity are valuable and necessary, we earnestly ask you to subscribe, take a second to like this video, and share your most heartfelt reflections in the comments below. Your invaluable support is the engine that allows us to continuously spread these powerful stories of deep kindness that often truly transform lives in quiet, unexpected ways. The CEO's name was Laura Mitchell. She presided over an empire, a multi-billion-dollar tech giant headquartered in the heart of Chicago, and was renowned across the industry for her laser-sharp intellect, her unflinching decisiveness, and a relentless, almost inhuman work ethic. To the external world, Laura Mitchell was the embodiment of having achieved absolutely everything. She commanded power, received immediate respect, and possessed a level of financial and professional success most people only dreamed of. Yet, beneath the veneer of her impeccable public image, she carried a quiet, nagging maternal worry that absolutely no boardroom victory or record-breaking quarter could ever hope to soothe or erase. Her 12-year-old daughter, Emily, had always been defined by her brilliance, her fierce curiosity, her thoughtfulness, and an endless, engaging stream of questions. But lately, an alarming shift had begun. Emily's advanced mathematics grades had started a precipitous and baffling slide. The curriculum, a rigorous advanced track designed to prepare promising young students for elite science and engineering programs, was clearly overwhelming her. Laura reacted the only way she knew how, by pouring resources at the problem. Expensive, specialized tutors were immediately hired. Extra, demanding classes were added to Emily's already packed schedule. Nonetheless, Emily only seemed to become more discouraged, increasingly withdrawn, and permanently exhausted. Laura, watching the light dim in her daughter's eyes, instinctively and painfully blamed herself. Her long, grueling hours, the countless missed family dinners, the too frequent nights she arrived home only after Emily had already fallen into a tired sleep, all piled up into a mountain of guilt. She sincerely promised herself that she would find the time to fix this, to rebalance her life, but the powerful, unforgiving gravitational pull of work always, inevitably, dragged her back. Every weekday morning before the school day began, Emily accompanied her mother to the towering, imposing office building where Laura ran her empire. After school, Emily would return and patiently wait in a small, well-appointed lounge area, quietly doing homework and reading until Laura finally finished her endless stream of high-stakes meetings. That entire building was renowned for its immaculate cleanliness, always spotless, always shining, a tribute to the silent, efficient dedication of a cleaning professional named Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry was a man in his late 50s, marked by quietude, a gentle, soft-spoken demeanor, neatly graying hair, and the unmistakable evidence of his labor. Severely worn work shoes. Most of the highly paid, title-laden occupants of the building barely registered his presence. A few didn't even know his name. To them, he was simply an anonymous, interchangeable part of the background infrastructure. But Emily, possessing the clear, unjaded eyes of a child, noticed him. Initially, their connection began with the smallest of courtesies. A genuine smile, a pleasant good afternoon, a nod of recognition. One afternoon, Emily was sitting hunched over a terrifyingly complex geometry worksheet, scribbling out numbers with visible, mounting frustration and then violently erasing them. Mr. Henry paused his work of emptying a nearby, overflowing trash bin and, seeing her distress, gently inquired if she was all right. Emily hesitated for a moment, then, driven by sheer hopelessness, showed him the paper filled with confusing variables and diagrams. Mr. Henry took the time to study the intricate problems carefully, his gaze surprisingly sharp and focused. Then, a warm, genuine smile touched his lips. "May I possibly show you something?" he asked in his soft voice. That day, standing discreetly by the trash receptacle, he explained a particularly difficult concept in a way no expensive, university-credentialed tutor ever had. It was simple, elegant, perfectly clear, almost magically illuminating. Emily's eyes, which had been dull with exhaustion, suddenly lit up like sparks. For the first time in weeks, she was genuinely smiling while doing mathematics. From that pivotal day forward, whenever Emily was waiting patiently in the building after school, Mr. Henry would quietly take his scheduled break nearby. He never once overstepped his boundaries, never intruded, never asked for favors or recognition. He simply and freely taught what Emily, in her childlike simplicity, didn't know yet, and what Laura, the all-powerful CEO, would soon discover, was that Mr. Henry had not always been a janitor. Years ago, before a terrible confluence of prolonged family illness and catastrophic bad luck had severely destabilized his life, he had been a distinguished, beloved college professor, specializing in applied mathematics and theoretical physics. Cleaning buildings provided the necessary wages and kept steady food on the table, a stark contrast to his former life. He never spoke a word of his illustrious past. He possessed no need for public acknowledgement or pity. Teaching Emily, witnessing her sudden moments of comprehension and triumph, was in itself profound and sufficient reward. Weeks quickly morphed into months. Emily's confidence, once shattered, now grew exponentially. Her math grades didn't just improve, they soared. She started effortlessly solving advanced problems meant for students years ahead of her grade level. Laura, who tracked her daughter's achievements with the same rigor she tracked market performance, was utterly shocked by the sudden, dramatic, and unexplained improvement. One evening while reviewing a particularly sophisticated piece of homework, Laura, completely baffled, asked, "Who, precisely, has been helping you with this specific level of work? Which brilliant tutor is responsible?" Emily looked up from her desk, momentarily confused by her mother's intensity. "Mr. Henry." Laura instantly frowned, running through her mental Rolodex of hired professionals. "Which tutor is that? I don't recall hiring anyone by that name." Emily smiled, a beautiful, knowing smile. "The janitor, Mom." Laura froze completely, the paperwork slipping from her grasp. The very next day, she deliberately stayed late, remaining hidden, watching quietly from the panoramic window of her corner office. She observed Mr. Henry sitting patiently with Emily in the lounge, explaining complex equations using simple, elegant diagrams drawn on a napkin and immensely patient, encouraging words. There was no professional hurry, no academic ego, just pure, selfless kindness and profound knowledge shared absolutely freely. Laura felt a sudden, sharp constriction in her chest, a painful tightening caused by guilt, revelation, and staggering awe. She called Mr. Henry into her office the following morning. He walked in, his worn shoes making barely a sound on the thick carpet, visibly nervous and trembling, clearly afraid that in his misplaced zeal, he had somehow overstepped his bounds or done something terribly wrong. Instead of disciplinary action, Laura immediately stood up from behind her imposing desk. She thanked him profusely, tears welling rapidly in her eyes, her voice thick with emotion. She articulated how his quiet intervention had profoundly helped her daughter when the combined resources of her wealth and influence had utterly failed. Mr. Henry, deeply uncomfortable with the attention, attempted to downplay his actions. "I simply helped where I saw I could," he said softly, looking at the floor. Laura then gently pressed him about his past. Reluctantly, humbly, he shared his full, detailed story. That day irrevocably changed everything for both of them. Laura, recognizing a massive talent previously ignored, immediately offered Mr. Henry a prestigious, highly visible new role within the company's educational outreach and development program. This came with a proper, respectable salary, comprehensive benefits, and the dignity he deserved. But more critically, she made one solemn, private promise to herself, to never ever again allow such genuine kindness, talent, and quiet wisdom to go completely unnoticed. Emily, seeing her friend and mentor about to leave, ran and hugged Mr. Henry that same evening and whispered, "You believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself anymore." Mr. Henry returned the embrace and replied, his eyes twinkling, "That's precisely what good teachers are meant to do." News of the stunning development and the untold backstory spread rapidly through the towering corporate building. Employees, from executive assistants to senior vice presidents, started greeting Mr. Henry warmly by his name. Some, genuinely ashamed, apologized for their years of utter silence and lack of recognition. Others felt a powerful, profound inspiration to look more closely, more intentionally, at the human beings surrounding them every single day. Laura did too. She made drastic changes to her schedule, prioritizing leaving work earlier, ensuring she ate dinner every single night with Emily, and learning to listen not just to her daughter's words, but to the silence underneath them. And every single time she happened to walk past a janitorial cart, she was immediately reminded of one simple, undeniable truth she had learned in the most difficult way. Kindness doesn't require or wear a prestigious title. True wisdom doesn't always reside in the expansive, corner offices overlooking the city. Sometimes, it humbly carries a mop and, in absolute silence, completely changes a child's entire life trajectory. In the final analysis, this was never merely a story about the complexities of advanced mathematics. It was, fundamentally, about the imperative of truly seeing people, about placing genuine value on human hearts and innate character over transient professional job titles, and about comprehending how one small, profoundly thoughtful act of quiet kindness can effortlessly ripple outward, transforming lives in profound and unexpected ways we could never possibly anticipate. If this deeply moving story resonated with you, please commit this to memory. Look again, look harder at the people walking around you, the ones you pass every single day in the hallways or on the sidewalk, the ones you routinely overlook. You can never truly know whose small, quiet act of kindness might be waiting right there to completely change your world, or who might be silently waiting for you to offer yours.